Hey, it's Brian from the channel Brian here, and I saw New Mutants. What a ride it has been to get to this point. Not even counting the months-long hiatus due to theaters closing, New Mutants has been delayed more times than most care to count. The first trailer for this movie was shown back in 2017, and just as it seemed like the release date of April earlier this year would be the definitive answer as to when we'd finally be getting New Mutants, 2020 did its 2020 thing, and now here we are. And all this buzz surrounding New Mutants really betrays it. Between reshoots, re-edits, postponements, Disney's acquiring of Fox, theaters closing, that attention subconsciously gives the movie a sense of build-up that it doesn't really deserve, because if it weren't for those things, New Mutants would come and go without even a second thought. Compared to the MCU, X-Men movies are so quaint to the mainstream eye. Literally nobody has cared about an X-Men property that isn't Logan in about 6 years. And to be honest, most of the enjoyment to be had in New Mutants comes from how clear it is the various studios trying to make it work were in too deep and just wanted a return on investment. New Mutants really reminded me of the recent Fantastic Four reboot, where the first hour is just this dour, empty attempt at broadening comic book movies as a genre, only for the last 20 minutes to be an abject clusterfuck because the movie still has to reconcile itself as a superhero film. There isn't a whole lot to New Mutants, really. I'll say New Mutants is better at what it sets out to do than Fantastic Four and has a clearer overall vision. With its troupe of teenagers and their individual powers and fears manifesting before their eyes, it sets itself up like an overproduced Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Granted, it's not as creative nor the characters as memorable, but the intent is there even if it's realized to only a wishy-washy, this movie was obviously repurposed to be this way, degree. But that intent only gets you so far unless you lower the bar more than anybody should be willing to. The plot is insultingly bare bones, the cinematography generally weak. Questions I found myself asking like, hey, why are these teenagers the only 5 people being held in this massive institution? Or why is the headmaster the literal only member of the staff? And yeah, those basic plot elements are never addressed. And for a movie with its sights set on horror, every attempt New Mutants makes at being scary is just laughable and silly. This is genuinely some It Chapter 2 levels of not scary CGI bullshit. I could not believe what they went with for the film's climax. Imagine crossing the BVS Doomsday fight with Sam Jackson's death in Deep Blue Sea. For studios to insist upon a movie like New Mutants' existence for so long and have this be what they ended up with is almost a little insulting. The series of sequences where characters encounter their fears make the boilerplate, oh, we have to learn to control our powers plot that was outdone by a Jimmy Neutron episode a heck of a lot more predictable when put in context with our main character's backstory. Anya Taylor-Joy extracts the closest thing the film has to fun out of her performance. Now, don't get me wrong, her character is still incredibly silly, but she's the only one who can't be placed in a box of generic angst, and is by far the most expressive member of the cast. But I mean, how hard can that be for her? She looks like a Disney drawing. The rest of the cast does nothing special. I think the prospect of Maisie Williams and Charlie Hutton in a superhero film hit a lot harder in 2017, and people still gave a shit about the shows they're from. But still, bludgeoned to death by behind-the-scenes mishandlings, New Mutants is not a good X-Men story, a good coming-of-age teen drama, and especially not an effective horror film. It's really just kind of a mess. I give New Mutants a 2.